Absolutely. That's interesting that you were at the Rob Gronkowski one day signing. Can
Yeah.
you give me the behind the scenes on that? What was that like?
No, it was awesome. I mean, look, obviously, Gronk retired to avoid kind of getting traded, and then he came back, played, won the Super Bowl, and then finished his career in Tampa Bay. And I think it was a big part of it was there was this woman who helped with his charitable foundation, and her last request before she passed away, she sadly passed away from cancer, was I want to have Rob sign that 1 day contract and retire as a Patriot. So he fulfilled that.
Oh,
And it was great. Mr. Kraft was there and said a lot of great things. And Rob is, I mean, truly one of a kind. And having been there, it was my second year, his rookie year, to see him as a young player. And the thing that I loved most about Rob, and I would say this without hesitation, the greatest tight end to ever play the game, not because of what he did in the passing game, but because he could block like an offensive lineman, and he loved it. He would be giggling while he was blocking guys and pancaking them, and he was one of a kind. Just brought a childlike love of the game, and it was tough times in New England, right? Playing for Bill Belichick was not easy, and Rob always made it light and have had a lot of fun, and so well deserved by him. What an incredible career.
yeah, and that's so funny that you were like, oh, it wasn't the most fun, but Rob made it fun because everybody has those times where it's like, you have a teacher or you have a
Yeah,
coach or something like that where they really push you hard and give you that tough love.
no
Um,
doubt.
did you see Tom there and did you guys reminisce about being his backup at any point or anything like that?
Yeah, it was, Tom has been back several times since he obviously retired after playing in Tampa. There was a great Hall of Fame, Patriots Hall of Fame induction night here in Gillette. It was incredible. I mean, they got Jay-Z to perform, Kenny Chesney was performing. It was in the stadium. It was like basically sold out. And the thing that I thought was so cool and unique about that night was, Tom played a long time. And so there was guys who were in their 50s, even close to their 60s, who were older when Tom was young. And then you had guys who were in their 20s that Tom had just played with. And so to see the span of generations of players that Tom played with there to celebrate him was awesome. And it brought all of those guys back together, which was so cool.
Well, I wanted to ask, your 15-year career, what was the best locker room that you were ever a part of? Was it the Patriots?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think, and I talked about this yesterday doing an appearance. There was never a locker room that I was a part of that was so close knit, and that's what you're seeing from the Patriots team that's playing this year in 2025. And what I appreciate about them is they're playing selfless football. They're accountable to one another. We just saw Drake May was addressing the media yesterday, and Vrabel had offered the team like, "Hey, it's a little cold. It's going to be okay on Thursday night. Maybe we practice inside." And they said, "No, we want to go out and practice in the elements. We want to embrace that." And seeing that type of accountability is what I learned so much from being in those Patriots locker rooms. As I mentioned before, was on a lot of great organizations, was on a few that weren't so great. And those locker rooms, you could see they were afraid. There was little packs in each corner. The Patriots locker room, I'd eat lunch, and one day it'd be with the offensive lineman. The next day I'd be with, Devin McCourty and Daron Harmon and Jason McCourty. And then the next day I'm with the receivers. Like we were truly a bond of brothers. And that's why I think they were so successful all that time. You just had such a tight knit group.
Do you have an idea of like what like the worst locker room you were a part of? And you played for almost half of the league. So you have so much experience in bad locker rooms. We hear all the time about, XYZ coach lost the locker room. Brian Daboll
Sure.
obviously got let go by the Giants. What was the worst locker room you were a part of?
I'm not going to mention the names because there's guys that I care about in those organizations. But as I mentioned before, what you see in bad locker rooms, you see little groups forming, right? Little cliques. And when things aren't going well, instead of addressing them, that's when those little cliques, I think about it this way, or, I think so and so is not doing the job they're supposed to be doing. And they really pull apart. And it's unfortunate. I mean, you see, like you mentioned, the New York Giants, they fire Brian Daboll. I believe Brian Daboll is a good coach. It's just a matter of, Jackson Dart gets injured. They aren't able to win that game. When Scadaboo gets injured, you could see the life sucked out of that team. And it's wild to see what two rookies can do and impact a team. But now it's affecting the coaching staff. It's affecting other people. And I think that's the one thing. Good teams, when tough times come, they come together. They don't splinter apart.